There was some very important testimony this week in the trial of Derek Chauvin. A number of medical experts were called to the stand to testify about George Floyd's cause of death, including this pulmonary specialist. Here is what he said.
Mr. Floyd died from a low level of oxygen. The cause of the low level of oxygen was shallow breathing. Main forces that are going to lead to the shallow breath are going to be that he's turned prone on the street, that he has the handcuffs in place combined with the street, and then that he has a knee on his neck, and then that he has a knee on his back and on his side.
Horrible details. To help put this into perspective for us, we've got a special guest on the show today. Please welcome legal analyst and former criminal prosecutor Mari Henderson. Now, Mari, many of our viewers have also seen you on ABC News and Good Morning America, so thank you for coming on DBL. And please, Mari, what did you think of this testimony from yesterday? And will the defense be able to come back and try and prove Floyd's death was from some other cause, as they've already stated?
Well, I thought the testimony yesterday was very important. That pulmonologist said two things that I think the jury will really latch on to. One, he described the action of Officer Chauvin's knee on George Floyd's neck almost like a surgical procedure of a surgeon removing someone's lungs, which is really powerful testimony. The other important thing he said is that a healthy person would have died from these actions too. And that statement is a real blow to the defense, because the defense is trying to say it was his drug addiction, it was his heart condition, these other things caused the death, and that pulmonologist just totally eviscerated that defense.
Oh, sorry, that was me. I thought it was Al.
That
a lot
was
of
you,
folks.
Tori.
So sorry. I was actually interested.
Great for our new guest.
Okay, a lot of folks are talking about an email. I'm so sorry, Mari. George Clooney actually sent to Floyd's family attorney Ben Crump, suggesting some kind of demonstration. Can you talk to us about that letter and your take on George Clooney's suggestion?
Well, George Clooney, ever the actor and the director-producer, came up with a stunt that is probably best left for the movies. He said that if Derek Chauvin is so confident in his defense, then he should get up in front of the jury, lay on the ground, and have someone else lean on his neck with their knee for 9 minutes and 29 seconds to see if he survives. Obviously, that would be powerful testimony and evidence, but there's no way that that would ever happen in reality in a courtroom. That kind of a demonstration is nothing a judge would ever allow. I think it was effective that the pulmonologist yesterday took the jurors through a series of exercises where they touched their own throat and Adam's apple and neck to kind of see what was going on. But here, the most powerful testimony is the video. That is what makes this case so different from any other, is the body cam footage, the surveillance footage, bystander footage. There is just video of every second of George Floyd's last moments.
All right, Mari, I want to get back to the testimony. You said that the testimony from the doctor was damning. We also heard from police officers that testified against Officer Chauvin. How damaging was that testimony? And do you think we're at kind of the precipice of seeing a shift in that blue wall where now officers will out other possibly bad officers?
I think that the officer testimony was very strong for the prosecution, because the defense basically has two lines of defense here. One, he died for some other reason, and two, that the officer's use of force was appropriate and he was trained to do so. And both were blown out of the water this week, because several different use of force experts and members of the Minneapolis Police Department, his own police department, spoke out against him, and they spoke out against him strongly. They said it was totally unnecessary for this level of use of force. And so I think regardless of the shift in culture right now, this is something that officers would have said, because any officer who took the stand and tried to justify his actions that are shown on video would have no credibility whatsoever with this jury.
And Marnie, what do you think the defense's strategy is going to be in the coming weeks, given that we have the video and hearing the testimony, the powerful testimony we heard from the prosecution thus far?
I think their strategy will come down to a battle of the experts. I'm sure they have found experts, expert medical doctors, forensic pathologists, use of force experts potentially, who are willing to say that the fentanyl that he ingested, the methamphetamine that he ingested, and his underlying heart condition were contributing factors to his death, and also potentially that the use of force was reasonable. But what's important to remember here is, even if the drug use and the underlying heart condition were contributing factors, all the prosecution needs to prove here for each of these three charges is that it is a substantial factor. So Derek Chauvin putting his knee on George Floyd's neck was a substantial factor causing the death. Even if there are these other contributing factors, that doesn't matter.
Wow, great insight. Thank you so much, Mari Henderson. We appreciate you. We will be right back.